Hello students, so welcome all of you to this discussion of Grand Test 8. So we are going to discuss quickly the physics portion over here. Now the first question over here is a very simple problem. It's based on units and measurement, and the correct answer over here is going to be option number 1. Okay, I hope you can do this. Next point is about screw gauge. The zero of circular scale lies 3 divisions above the horizontal pitch line. So this question actually has a zero error. You might have seen tough questions in screw gauge are always created with zero error. It has a negative zero error which you just need to include, and the answer over here is going to be 1.54, which is option number 4. Using the same formula, nothing new in it. A bus starts from rest and moves with a constant acceleration 5 meter per second square. At the same instant, a car traveling at a constant speed of 50 overtakes the bus. What is the speed of the bus when two are again side by side? So over here, one is in acceleration, the displacement will be half at square, right? And the other one is moving with a constant speed, which is going to be v into t. Equate both of them because the displacement will be same when they are one above the other. You will get the value of time. Now keep the value of time in the equation v equals to u plus at, right? U is 0, so acceleration into time will give you the value of velocity. The correct answer over here is going to be 50 meter per second. Okay, I hope this is making sense. 50, or I think not 50. Yes, it is going to be 100 meter per second, not 50. Okay. If a number of bullets are fired horizontally with different velocities from the top of tower, they will reach the ground. So if they are fired horizontally, then obviously they will reach the ground in the same time, but will have different velocities at the bottom. Okay, at the same time with different velocities. Option number 3. Match list 1 with list 2, right? So they are complementary pairs, therefore the first option is clearly correct. R1 and R2 are going to be equal to each other. Then you can easily find out the value of T1 and T2. T1 is 2u sine theta by g. So u is same. One has to be sine 30, another one has to be sine 60. Based on that, you can very easily find out the ratio. B will be representing 4. Now B will be representing 4, A will be representing 1. That means option number 3 is matching the requisite condition. A particle of mass m is moving in a straight line with momentum p starting at t equals to 0. Force kt acts in the same direction on the moving particle during time interval capital T. So that momentum changes from p to 3p. K is constant. You will have to use the formula f dt is equal to the change in momentum, right? So f is already given. Integrate over here. Delta p is 3p minus p. You will get the answer. The correct answer over here is going to be option number 1. If I'm not wrong, yes, option number 1 is the right answer. A child is on a merry-go-round standing at a distance of 2 meters from the center. The coefficient of static friction between the child and the surface of merry-go-round is 0.8. At what maximum angular velocity can the merry-go-round be rotated before the child slips? Simple problem over here. The maximum value of friction has to be m omega square r. The omega value is given. The angular velocity, yes, and the fk will be equal to nu times normal. Normal over here will be nu mg. So using this and this, you will be able to find out the maximum value of the angular velocity. Moving ahead, a ball is moving with speed v hits another identical ball at rest. The two balls sticks together. So it's a perfectly inelastic collision. If the specific heat of the material of the ball is S, the rise in temperature. So I think you can find out the initial momentum of the ball is mv, another one is 0. And after that, they both stick to each other with a common velocity v dash, which will be 2 mv dash. So v dash will be equal to v by 2, right? You can find out the change in kinetic energy. Later on, the kinetic energy will be lesser. Now, whatever is the change in kinetic energy, that eventually will be equal to the rise in temperature of ball 1 and ball 2. That means 2m into s into delta t. So calculate delta k, divide by 2ms, you will get the value of temperature change. Okay. Moving ahead, a body is constrained to move in the x direction subjected to a force given by this. The work done by this force is simple. Work done is constant. So they want displacement is only along x-axis. That means multiply this with 10 along x-axis minus 20 joule will be the correct answer. Okay. J cap and K cap force will not create any work done. In pure rolling motion, the fraction of total energy associated with rotation is alpha for a disk and beta for a solid sphere. Then alpha is to beta is. So whatever is the total kinetic energy associated with rotation, how you can find that out is, see, the total kinetic energy will be half mv square plus half I omega square, correct? And v will be over here. V over here will be equal to V over here will actually be equal to how much? I for any body can be written as k mr square into this will be equal to v square by r square, correct? So if you notice carefully, half of mv square plus k times half of mv square. This is the total energy, right? So they are basically divided in the ratio of 1 is to k. They're divided in the ratio of 1 is to k, where k is basically whatever is the value of moment. In moment of inertia, you have mr square by 2, so 1 by 2 is for a disk. Then what are the bodies written? They're basically talking about a disk, k will be 1 by 2, for a solid sphere it will be 2 by 5. So based on that, you can very easily find out the ratio distribution is 1 is to k. So you can find out how much ratio is distributed to rotational kinetic energy. A thin wire of mass m and length l is bent in the form of a ring. The moment of inertia of the ring about its diameter. See, about its diameter, it is mr square by 2, correct? And the entire length of the ring will be 2 pi r. So keep the value of r, which is L by 2 pi over here, you will get the answer. A displacement of a particle executing simple harmonic motion is given by y equals to a naught plus a sin omega t. Now see, this function can actually be written as root a square plus b square into sine of omega t plus phi. Okay. And talking about this, this can go over here, will be equal to y minus a naught. Now this simply means that the SHM is now having the mean position at a naught and amplitude at root a square plus b square. Option number 2 is correct. Simple pendulum is subject to different acceleration. The time period of a stationary pendulum is t and modified time period is t dash. Match the ratio t dash is to t for various situations. So see, when it is under free fall, time period will be infinity. C stands for 1. C stands for 1 over here, here and here. Next thing what you can say is when the vehicle is moving, lift is accelerating, moving up. So if it is moving up, it will increase. So B will stand for 3. Correct. B stands for 3 over here only. That means option number 1 is undoubtedly the right answer. Kinetic energy of a planet in an elliptical orbit, KB, KC, KC. Okay, so this is a PYQ over here. Maximum kinetic energy is over here, then over here, and the least kinetic energy is over here because the velocity is the least. Okay. When a part of a straight capillary tube is placed vertically in a liquid, the liquid rises up to a certain height. H is equal to 2t cos of theta upon rho gr. Right. So, if the inner radius of the capillary tube, the density of the liquid and the surface tension of decreases by 1% each, then the height of the liquid in the tube will change by. Okay. So, I think this is a simple problem of error analysis. You can just do the error analysis. T, rho and R are changing. So, there's nothing much in it. A wire of length L and radius R is rigidly fixed at one end. On stretching the other end of the wire with a force F, the increase in its length is L. If another wire of same material but of length 2L and radius 2R is stretched with the force 2F, the increase in its length is. You just need to use the formula F upon A is equal to Y times delta L by L. Now the delta L you need to compare and the force, area and length are changing. I hope this is also a simple problem. There are two identical small holes of area of cross section A on opposite sides of a tank containing rho. The difference in height between the holes is small h. The tank is resting on a smooth horizontal surface. The horizontal force that will be able to apply to the tank to keep it in equilibrium is. So basically whenever there is an opening, there is a recoil force that is equal to rho into v square, correct? So you just need to balance that, and v over here is how much? It is root 2 gh, correct? So keep it over here, you will get the recoil force. There are two holes, one over here will recoil the force. You just need to balance it, you will get the value of horizontal force. RMS speed of oxygen molecule as 47 is the same as that of hydrogen molecule kept at it. See, RMS speed is under root of 3 kT upon small m. Values are given, temperature is changing, you just need to find out the value of temperature. VRMS is was directly related to root T. Aluminium and a steel rod having same length and cross section are joined to make a total length 120 cm at 30. The coefficient of linear expansion of aluminium and steel is this. The length of this composite rod and its temperature is raised to 100. So when you raise the temperature, obviously one portion of it is increased. You need to find out the delta L for aluminium, which will be L naught for aluminium into alpha delta T, correct? This, all of this for aluminium. Then you need to find out the delta L of the others, that is steel. that will be L naught into alpha into delta T for steel. Correct. So the length of this composite rod, you add both of them, you will get the value of the net effective increment in length. Then simply add it to 120 centimeter, you will get your answer. A thermodynamic system undergoes a cyclic process A, B, C, D, A. A, B, C, D, A. As shown in the figure, the work done by the system in the cycle is. So here you can see you have a clockwise loop. You are going to have positive work done. Here you can see you have an anti-clockwise loop. You will have negative work done. Add all of them. The correct answer is going to be 0 because both triangles are of the same dimension only. Black metal foil is warmed by radiation from a small sphere of radiation temperature T at a distance D, and it is found that intensity of radiation received by the foil is P. If both the temperature and distance are doubled, the power received will be. If the temperature is doubled, then the radiation will be become 4 times, and the distance is doubled, so the intensity will be becoming 1 by 4 of it. Based on it, what you can see is if both temperature and distances are doubled, the power received by the fall, you can basically include both of them and find out the correct answer over here. Okay. Next, see the point is now they are asking power received. Here I am talking about intensity. Okay. So by the same logic, this will become 16 times and this will become 1 by 4 times. When you include both of them, answer will be 4 times. Option number 3. Okay. Power received is like intensity only. Now, moving ahead, an organ pipe closed at one end has a fundamental frequency 1500 Hz. The maximum number of overtones generated by this pipe which a normal person. See, the normal person can hear till 20,000 Hz. Now, this is the first one. The second one will be 3 into 1500. The next one will be 5 into 1500. You will go on like this. So, 3, 5, then 7, then 9, then 11, then 13. Finally, you will end at 13 into 1500, which is a value close to 19,500, right? So that means 6 overtones are going to be possible. Next, each quarter of vessel of depth h is filled with liquid of refractive index n1, n2, n3 and n4 from the bottom respectively. The apparent depth of the vessel when looked at normally will be equal to. So you will have to see there is a simple technique to find this out over here. You can just consider that there is only one liquid and try to match the answer. Okay, if let's say there is only one liquid, each quarter of a vessel of depth h is filled with liquid. Okay, so let's say the entire h height is over here, right, with n1. So where the height, net height will be? The net height obviously will be reduced and that will be equal to h by nu, correct? So if only h height is there, then what is the answer? And for quarters, for 4 of them, right? So every one will make it upward by, this will be h by nu, h by nu, h by nu1 and h by nu2. So if you will add all of them, if you will add all of them, it will be perfect. Option number 2 will match. Option number 2 will match because every quarter will have a height decrement of, one will have h by nu, but what if you make the height as 1 h by 4? So it will have h by 4 nu, correct? So option number 2 will be matching. Option number 2 will be matching, correct? Absolutely correct. A convex lens of power 6D is placed in contact with concave lens of power minus 4D. The nature and focal length. It's simple, 1 upon focal length of combination is 1 upon f1 plus 1 upon f2 or p1 plus p2. You can solve it, there's nothing tough in it. Young's double slit experiment is performed first in air and then in medium other than air. It is found that the 8th bright fringe in the medium lies where 5th dark fringe lies. See, the position of the bright fringe is n lambda capital D upon small d. So they're talking about the 8th bright, that means 8 lambda capital D upon small d, and this is in the medium. So for the medium, the wavelength you will have to include nu also, and this is basically for dark, it is n plus 1 by 2 lambda capital D upon small d. For the 5th dark, you will obviously keep, see, when you keep 0 you get first, 1 you get second, 2 you get third, so that means you will keep 4, you will get the fifth dark fringe. So 4 if you keep, it will be 9 lambda capital D upon small 2d. Equate both of them, you will get the value of refractive index. Okay, these two you equate, lambda capital D upon small d, lambda capital D small d. New value you can very easily find out. Next is intensity of transmitted light when a Polaroid sheet placed between two cross polarides is 22.5 from the polarization axis of one of the polarides. Is I naught is intensity of polarized light after passing through first Polaroid. Okay. So see, the Polaroid sheets are crossed, right? One over here, one over here. And now you're keeping one more. Okay. The Polaroid sheets are crossed. And you're keeping one more like this. Now let's say this angle is theta. So this angle over here will be 90 minus theta, right? Simple point. They're saying I naught is the intensity of polarized light. So unpolarized nahi, they are talking about polarized light. Let's say this is I naught. So what gets out over here is I naught into cos square theta. And what gets out over here is whatever is this intensity, that is I naught cos square theta into cos square of this angle. Cos square of 90 minus theta or cos of 90 minus theta is sin square theta. So this is the intensity which is getting out. Divide by 4, multiply by 4, you will get I naught by 4 into sine 2 theta whole square. That means sine square 2 theta. Correct? Because 2 sine theta cos theta is that. Now they want to find out what is the intensity. So 2 theta, 22.5 is given. That means 2 theta is sine 45. Sine 45 is 1 by root 2. Whole square of that is 1 by 2. 1 by 2 into 8, 4 will be option number 3, 1, I naught by 8. An iron bar of length L has magnetic momentum. It is bent at the middle of its length such that the two arms make an angle 60 degree with each other. The magnetic moment of this is, the magnetic moment of this and this is going to be straight away, M is over here, M is over here, right? So the net resultant has magnetic moment this much, right? So the charges are going to be that only, and how much will be the length? So this is L, this is L. It is bent at the middle of its length such that the two arms make 60 degree with each other. Okay, now M cos 60, M cos 60. Right, perfect. So the point is, listen to me carefully. The new length over here will be L by 2. Correct? And the new length over here will be L by 2. Because this entire is the magnet. Okay? Now the same pole strength is same, NS. But what about this length? So don't you think this is turning out to be an equilateral triangle? That means this will also be L by 2. So it is going to be whatever is the pole strength into the length which is L by 2. Now small m into L was capital M. So it is turning out to be M by 2. Option number 2 is correct. Two identically charged conducting spheres A and B have their centers separated by a certain distance. The charge on each sphere is Q and the force of repulsion between them is F. A third identical uncharged conducting sphere is brought in contact first with sphere A and then with sphere B and is finally removed from both. The new force of repulsion between sphere A and B will be, okay, so see, let's say it has charge Q and Q. Now when it is in contact and kept away, it will have Q by 2 and it will have Q by 2. Now when it is brought in contact over here, it has Q by 2, Q. Add both of them, it will be 3Q by 2. So now the new charge will be 3Q by 4 and 3Q by 4. So basically you need to find out the net force between 3Q by 4 and this Q by 2. Find it, you will get the value in terms of F. F was simple, KQ1 Q2 by R square. Okay. At steady state, the charge on the capacitor is, please remember at the steady state, no current flows through the capacitor. Basically, across it, the potential is equal to the potential over here. So current will flow through it, 5 upon 5 plus 10 plus 15, 5 upon 25. This will be the current. Into 10, this will be the potential difference across it. We want to find out the charge. So this is the potential difference, multiply it with C, which is 8. You will get your answer. Okay. Two capacitors C1 and C2 are connected in parallel to a battery. The charge time graph is as shown for the two capacitors. The energy stored with them are U1 and U2 respectively. Which of the given statements is correct? I think based on this structure, it is clearly visible. The C2 has more value of charge in time and C1 has lesser value of charge. So obviously C2 will be greater than C1 and potential energy will also be greater than that. Okay, so option number 4 is the correct answer. Correct. Moving ahead. The electric potential V in space is given by V equals to 4x square, the electric field at point. So you will have to simple E is equal to minus of dV by dx. Differentiate it, you will get as minus 8x, keep the value of x as 1. So it will be minus 8 I cap. That means 8 along negative x-axis. Wire of resistance R is cut into n equal parts. These parts are then connected in parallel. The equivalent resistances. When it is cut into n equal parts, each will have R by n. Now further, when you are bringing them in parallel, the equivalent resistance will be further by n. That means it will be R by n square. Option number 4 is the correct answer. Long straight wire of circular cross section of radius A carries a steady current I. The current I is uniformly distributed across this cross section. The plot of magnitude of magnetic field line. Option number 1 is the right answer. It increases linearly and then it inversely is related with R. Magnetic field inside a 200 meter solenoid. See, this is a simple mu naught Ni formula based problem. Metallic rod of length 4 meter is held vertically and moved with a velocity 2 I cap plus 3 j cap in a magnetic field 10 I cap plus 5 j cap. Then the magnitude of induced EMF is, see, EMF is V cross B dot L vector, right? So you will do the cross product of this and this. I hope you can do the cross product. Whatever is the answer, you will get the answer along z axis. Then just do the dot product, you will get the answer. Okay. So the cross product and then the dot product over here. 220 volt 50 hertz AC source is connected to an inductance of 0.2 Henry and a resistance of 20 ohm in series. What is the current in the circuit? See, the current in the circuit will simply be equal to whatever is the V and the RMS value they are asking upon the impedance. The impedance over here will be simple XL square plus R square. Now L value is already given. Frequency is given. You can calculate omega, which will be 2 pi f. So it will be 100 pi. 100 pi into 0.2, you will get the value. Simply use it. The answer is just maths away. A displacement current of 4 ampere can be set in the space between two parallel plates, capacitor 6 microfarad. The rate of change of potential difference across the plate of the capacitor is nearly this much. The potential difference over here will be, see, chi will be equal to C into dV by dt. Correct. So this is displacement current value is given, dV by dt they are asking. Given below two statements, one is labeled assertion. The electromagnetic wave exerts pressure on surface on which they fall. Correct. There's no mass associated. This is right, but this is not the right reason. Option exerts pressure on the surface on which they are allowed to fall. The electromagnetic wave, they exert pressure on the surfaces on which they are allowed to fall. Yes, there is no mass associated with the electromagnetic wave. Correct. It is not the right reason. Absolutely correct. An electron of mass small m with an initial velocity v equals to v naught I cap enters an electric field E equals to minus E naught k cap. If the initial de Broglie wavelength is lambda naught, the value of de Broglie wavelength after time t is. See, the de Broglie wavelength is going to be h upon p. Now p after velocity after particular interval will be initial velocity v naught plus acceleration, which will be e naught. So it's an electron, it will experience force along positive k cap, right? So the velocity will be, see, v naught along I cap will be as it is. Next velocity will increase along k cap, so it will be force is this upon mass m into time will be t, and this will be along k cap. Now you will have to take the magnitude of this. So what will be the magnitude of this? Under root of v square plus e small e capital E t upon small m whole square. I think based on this you will get the answer option number 1. If I am not wrong, m will get multiplied. Sorry, v naught will be taken common. So h upon mv naught will be the initial wavelength, lambda naught, and rest of the things are exactly matching. Absolutely correct. Perfect. Next, in a photoelectric effect, the kinetic energy of electrons emitted from metal surface depends upon. It is not dependent upon the intensity, it is dependent upon the frequency of the incident light. Electron makes transition from N to 2 of hydrogen atom. The wavelength of light emitted is simple 1 upon L is equals to R. This is an hydrogen atom, right? So 1 upon N1 square minus 1 upon N2 square. Simple. Find the value in terms of R. The output of the circuit is, this is just simple truth table. So you can keep this out input over here and find out where the output is 0. If you keep this, for this the correct answer is option number 3, correct? Yes, it is 3. Next, again the same thing. See, 0 means the LED will not glow, 1 means the LED will glow. Moreover, 0 over here means no current is going, 1 over here means the current is going. Okay, so based on this also, I think here also option number 3 is the right answer, if I'm not wrong. Just solving it, yes, option number 3 is the right answer in this case. Nuclear reactor delivers a power of 10 watt. Find the fuel consumed by the reactor per hour if its efficiency is 20%. Simple. The energy nuclear reactor is delivering a power of 20%. Find the fuel consumed by this. So the fuel consumed by this is basically going to, you will have to use E equals to del mc square, right? And this energy per unit time is 10 watt. And how much is the efficiency? So efficiency is only 20%. So now when you equate this with 10 watt, you will get the value of del m by T, which they are asking about in gram per hour, the fuel consumed. In the given nuclear reaction, how many alpha and beta particles will be released? So obviously you need to balance. Option number 4 will match. 7 into 2 is matching. Minus 4, that is 10 difference. And 7 4s are 28 is matching. So that is the case. Option number 4 is the correct answer over here. Okay. So overall, talking about the level of this paper, the paper was actually moderate range, lesser than moderate range. It was solvable, and I hope many questions were there. They were not tricky questions. Some were actually a bit offbeat, but they were solvable in 1 minute of time. Okay? So I hope the entire solution is clear to you. We'll connect in the next one. Till then, take care everyone. Bye-bye and thank you.
Hello all of you all. Welcome to the NEET Grand Test Paper discussion on the video. Myself, dear students, Dr. Sheikh Sarfaraz from Infinity Learn by Sri Chaitanya. So dear students, obviously examinations have come very close. Examination is on Sunday. Okay, very close it is there, and you people have almost completed your syllabus and you are very well prepared and ready. So however, since you have written your grand test, so let us have a fast look on the paper solutions of chemistry. So now let us see the first question, 46. Correct statements he is asking. Okay, so first everybody, sometimes what happens, we don't see correct or wrong, sometimes he say incorrect and you do mistake. So correct statements we want, right? So first one, the principal quantum number determines the size and energy of an orbital. Yes. So whenever n will increase, you know, size will increase. Okay, right? And obviously the main intention of principal quantum number is to describe the energy and size of orbital. So option A is perfectly correct. So if you want technique, dear students, if you want to solve a technique, I'll show you subject and technique parallelly. If A is correct, then everybody can see in options 4 and 3 cannot be the answer. And here you can see C and D are common in both. That means B will become the decider. So like that in NEET exam, you can save your time. So let us see answer B. The number of possible values of L for a given n is equal to n minus 1. So let us take one example. For example, let us say n is 5, hypothetically. Then L values can start from, we can take values from 1, 2, 3 and 4 for a given example. Hence, you can see this also can have 5 values. That means the values can be identical. Hence, this statement goes wrong because he is saying here n minus 1. The branch of science that takes into account dual behavior of matter is called quantum mechanics. You study this in physics also. The total number of nodes, that is sum of angular nodes and radial nodes, is n minus 1, correct. So hence answer will be your option A, C and D. Okay dear students. Next, the species with larger number of fundamental particles. So here fundamental particles means, dear students, obviously is talking about protons, electrons and neutrons. So you can do this by two ways, two methods you can do. One, you can directly do it by only by seeing electrons. Just see electrons and do it off. Because how many electrons will be there? For a neutral atom, protons will be almost the same. Neutrons may differ. So first I'll show you method 1. Method number 1. So if we take azide ion, N3 minus 1. So N3 minus 1 should have 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 1 electrons. I am talking about electrons. Dear students, please make a note. Only I am talking about electrons. Actually, fundamental particle means you have to calculate proton, electron and neutron. Now coming to nitride ion. Nitride is N minus 3. So this is 7 plus 3. Okay. So here you got 22 and here you got 10. Third one is nitrite ion. Nitrite is NO2 minus 1. So 7 plus 8 plus 8 plus 1. So on solving this, you will get 24. Hydride ion obviously 1 plus 1. So hence you can see directly the answer will be nitrite ion. See, remember, I am not solving protons and neutrons. Okay, I am just focusing on electron. Obviously proton will be nearby the same and neutrons will be maybe slightly more than that. Hence answer should be nitrite ion. So without solving completely also I can give the answer. Next, dear students, question number 48. Given below are two statements, that is assertion and reasoning model of question. The boiling point of para-nitrophenol is greater than orthonitrophenol. So everyone, you can see para-nitrophenol. You know, para-nitrophenol will show which bonding? Intermolecular hydrogen bonding. And ortho will show which hydrogen bonding? Intra. So this will have low boiling point and we call this as steam volatile. Okay, this will have high boiling point. I am showing you detail, but without that we can solve it. So the boiling point of para-nitrophenol is greater than that of orthonitrophenol. Correct. Reason, inter, and here which is hydrogen bonding? Intra. Okay, next. In para-nitrophenol, the molecules are held by strong intermolecular hydrogen bondings. Such bonding is absent in orthonitrophenol. Yes, in orthonitrophenol we have intra. Correct statement. Hence option 1. Dear students, key is available here at the corner. You can see the key also. No problem if it got missed. Next. Now, dear students, select T, that is true, F false statements combinations for the given compound. Positive overlapping. So dear students, remember, whenever you have orbitals, okay, we have plus and plus, minus minus, or even according to atomic molecular orbital theory, if you write minus minus plus plus also, these are all positive overlaps only. Okay, hence, or if you just show in neutral form also, it is overlap is there, so it is positive overlapping statement is true. So first one is true. If first one is true, third one and fourth one cannot be the answer. So in NEET examination, you can remove the options first. Removing is very great. Options removal is very important than solving all the four. Next, second one, if you see both are saying in exam, he is only saying you the answer, both are false. Let us check it. See, you can see some overlap is there here. Correct? So he but is saying zero overlap, so it becomes here false. Right? Next option. Next option is here negative overlapping. So here you can see positive and negative both are there, opposite charges, sorry, not opposite charges, opposite signs, right? So hence this is a true statement. Next, here zero overlapping. No, this is false. Okay, this is, yeah, this is true. Zero overlapping is there. No, overlapping is zero, or we can say no overlapping. Okay, nil overlapping. Right. So the simple rule which you have to remember here for your examination, okay, the simple rule you have to remember for your examination is, whenever you have same sign, you should use the word overlap. Whenever you have opposite sign, okay, no overlap, or okay, so same sign, if overlap is there, it is called positive overlap. Opposite sign, no overlap, we call negative overlap. So you can use this concept, okay, to solve the problem. Chalo, next, again, right. So now the question number 50 is, 2 grams of a mixture of C2H2 and C3H8 on complete combustion gives carbon dioxide and water. Present in the 3:2 mole ratio, the mass of C2H2 in initial mixture is. So dear students, so first you have to do combustion of each. So if you do combustion of each, you will get carbon dioxide plus water, and here if you take C3H8 with oxygen, you will get carbon dioxide plus water. On balancing, so let us say this is x mole. So obviously 2 carbons are there, so this will be 2x, correct? And let us say this is x mole of water. So if you do balancing, hydrogens are 2, carbons 2, 5, so this will become 5 by 2 moles of oxygen. If you take y mole of this, then here this is 3, so you will get 3y of this, this is 4, so you will get 4y of this. So let me check, x mole, 2x, balancing, so here 6, 10, so 5 moles of oxygen. Balancing is successfully done. So now the total carbon dioxide which is coming here, if you see, with the total water coming there, so total moles of carbon dioxide upon total moles of water, if you see total, assuming the moles, okay, so it is 2x plus 3y divided by x plus 4y. If you solve this, you will get 6 upon 1. That means this is 2x, that means you have 6 moles of C2H2 and 1 mole you have of C3H8. So the total weight of the mixture will come approximately 200 gram. So in 200 gram it is there, then in 2 gram how much it is there, we have to find it out. Okay. Now let us proceed to the next question. Okay. Now, okay dear students, next question. Chlorine react with hot concentrated NaOH as follows. The reaction is an example of, see, comproportionation and disproportionation are opposite to each other. Decomposition is like carbonates, bicarbonates hitting evolute gases. Acid bed reaction, neutralization reaction. So here you can see the oxidation state of chlorine is 0, right? Here the oxidation state of chlorine is -1. Here the oxidation state of chlorine is +5. So everybody can see chlorine from 0, it is becoming chlorine -1 and chlorine +5, correct? Right? So that means from here to here, if you see, from here to here, see, it got reduced, and from here to here, if you see, it got oxidized. So if same element undergo oxidation as well as reduction, that is called disproportionation reaction. Okay. Next, dear students, all decomposition reactions are endothermic and redox. Wrong. For example, if you take calcium carbonate, if you decompose, it will give you calcium oxide plus carbon dioxide. Here you can see the oxidation state of carbon is +4. Here also it is +4. Okay, calcium is +2. So there is no, it's not redox reaction. So hence this statement is absolutely wrong. If A is wrong, then guaranteedly first one and fourth one will be wrong. Got it, dear students? Now, moving ahead, delta heat of formation of hydrogen H2SC, H2T is positive. Yes, because heat of formation from the elements are considered as positive. Answer B is correct. If B is correct, you can see, here only can cancel C and tick the answer 2. But however, we will proceed further. Iodine to 2I is heat of sublimation. No, heat of sublimation means in the solid state, the iodine which is present in the solid state is becoming vapors. Okay, but it's not breaking. If you break this into individual iodines, atoms, then this is called heat of dissociation, and now this is heat of sublimation. Correct? Next is heat of evaporation of water is greater than heat of evaporation of ethanol. Yes, because in option D, you can see water has hydrogen bonding. So, strong forces of attractions. Next, for hypothetical reaction, okay, endothermic reaction means delta H is positive. Decomposition reaction, A to B solid gives gas. Everybody can see solid is becoming gas. So, if we can see solid becoming gas and gas here, that means for this reaction delta S is positive. The reaction is spontaneous. So, you want to make delta G as negative. Then how? So, if you take the equation, delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S if you take, right? Now, so if you want to get a negative answer, this is obviously positive temperature and delta S is positive. Now, if you want to get a net answer negative, then this value should be a big value. Yes or no? So, to be a big value, temperature must be high. Okay. Next, 2-liter vessel contains 2 moles of hydrogen and iodine and heated to high temperature to establish equilibrium. Okay. So, hydrogen plus iodine gives 2Hi. So, at time t is equal to 0, this is how many moles? 2 moles, this is 2 moles, this is not there. At equilibrium, from 2 some x is lost, some 2 some x is lost, and here some 2x is found. Correct? Therefore, Kc is given. So, Kc is equal to concentration of Hi. Don't forget this is gas, and this is gas. So, you have to consider all the terms. So, Hi whole square upon hydrogen into I2. So, now Kc is how much? 25. So, 25 is equal to 2x whole square upon 2 minus x whole square, right? On solving this, you will get x value. Correct? Yes, students. On solving this, you will get x value. Once you get x value, if you keep it here, but be careful, this is very interesting. Students will think that once the x value, whatever you got, if you keep it there, you will get moles. No, if you subtract from the original moles, then you will get left 2 moles. So, remember, this values is mole, it is not amount. So, students will mostly think that, array, I will just put x value and that is nothing but grams. No, it is not in grams, that will come in moles. Once you get moles, then everybody know that number of moles taken minus number of moles lost will be equal to number of moles left. Then simple, number of moles will be equal to weight by 2, how much is iodine, gram molecular weight? 127 means 234, sorry, how much? 240, 254, sorry, 254. Let me check, 250, yeah, 254. You will get the answer as option 1. Okay, dear students, next. The conjugate base of perchloric acid, very easy. Perchloric acid is HClO4. Okay, conjugate base after losing proton, Okay, answer is option 2. Next, the pH of a 0.1 molar weak acid is 4. So pH is 4. Therefore, dear students, H plus concentration should be 10 power minus 4. The percentage of dissociation, that means he is asking you alpha. So first step is pH I got as 4, H plus concentration is 10 power minus 4. What is the question? Alpha. So we know that H plus concentration is equal to C alpha. Now H plus concentration is nothing but C is 10 power minus 1 into alpha. So alpha, once you get alpha, okay, 10 power minus 4 by 10 power minus 1. So this is 10 power minus 3. Now percentage of alpha means 10 power minus 3 you have to multiply by 100. So 10 power minus 1 will be your answer. Next, correct statements from the following. Correct, okay. Both CCl4 and SiCl4 do not undergo hydrolysis. This statement, dear students, is actually controversial. And I would like to talk on this. Listen very carefully. If you talk in general and broadly if you talk, CCl4 with water, no reaction. The reason given for this is it don't have vacant d orbitals. So vacant d orbital is what, tell me? Absent. Listen very carefully. So you people are NEET aspirants. So see, this do not undergo hydrolysis, confirm. But if you maintain vigorous conditions, okay, if you maintain a vigorous condition, vigorous means very high temperature, then it will give you COCl2. Nothing but we can call it as phosgene. So be careful. Whenever anywhere CCl4 comes, do not undergo hydrolysis. But vigorous condition, high temperature, okay, such words are used, then it will undergo hydrolysis. And obviously SiCl4 having vacant d orbital, so it will undergo hydrolysis to form silicones. So SiCl4 with water, it will give you SiOH, which are used to prepare silicones. Okay, right. Okay, this is discussion. Now coming to the main point. Now as a NEET student, normal student, both CCl4 and SiCl4 do not undergo hydrolysis. So you have to consider which factor? General factor. So in this will not undergo hydrolysis is correct, but this will undergo hydrolysis. So overall this equation statement becomes wrong. In tetrafluoroboro ion, boron is sp3 hybridized. Bf4 minus 1 is equal to Ab 4 molecule, so it is sp3, correct. So dear students, till here you saw in NEET how to solve is A and B. If you see, if you stop here only you can get the answer. How? A is wrong, B is correct. So he is asking, what is the correct he is asking, no? A is wrong, that means this is out, this is out. And B is correct, that means answer 3, 4 can be the answer. Let us solve further and check. Among 13th group, the element with least ionization potential is indium. Yes, indium is having least, so it is based upon data. Next, boron is unreactive in crystalline form. Yes, it is unreactive in crystalline form, it is very reactive in pure form. So hence answer is B, C and D. Aluminum sulfate is 80% ionized in water. The Bantu factor will be. Very easy question, very important question. So aluminum sulfate if you take, okay, it will give you 2 aluminiums plus 3 sulfate. That means here you can see number of ions here are 5. And he is saying 80% ionized. 80% ionized means alpha is 0.8. So here we got alpha, here we got N. So hence now I is equal to 1 plus N minus 1 alpha. If you take this equation, you will get answer 4.3. If you want, I substitute 1 plus 5 minus 1, 0.8. Okay, next. Next, the freezing point of the following aqueous solution is least. Least is saying. Okay, so we know that delta TF is equal to KF into, he is giving molality. Everywhere molality is given, into molality into Van to factor I. So by this equation you can solve. Okay, so freezing point least means it should be more freezing, more cooling. So everybody can see from this that delta TF is here now proportional to I. That means it depends upon Van to, oh sorry, molality also he gave, no? Molality is same. Everybody can see molality is same. So here Van to factor is 1, your Van to factor will be 3. Imagining it is completely ionized, your Van to factor will be 2 and your Van to factor will be 4. So more I, so freezing is more required, means low temperature more required to freeze the solution. So it's very easy question this is. So remember from where this question has come. So remember the concept is that we always use delta G to find E, right? We always use delta G to find E, since delta G is additive property. It is additive property, we have to solve it. So that is the concept here. So if I call this equation 1, equation 2, equation 3, if I call, then, so from equation 1 you can write, so what is the fundamental equation? Delta G is equal to minus NFE, correct? Where N is the number of electrons involved, right? So equation 1 if you see, so delta G1 is equal to minus, how many electrons are involved there? 2. F, E how much? Okay, E is given, E naught. So this is G naught, this is E naught. Okay, right, no problem. So I will label this as E1, E2 and I label this as, for this I label this as E naught 3, right? So this is equal to E1. Similarly from equation 2, you can get delta G2 is equal to minus 1 Fe2. Then from equation 3, delta G3 if I see, minus F in E3. Now what you have to do? So delta G3 should be equal to delta G1 plus delta G2. Okay, so if you solve this, right, then you will get option 3. Okay, students. Next problem 61. Acidulated water is electrolyzed using inert electrodes. Okay, let us say platinum electrode. Okay, if 2 Faraday of charge is used up, the STP volume of gaseous product obtained will be. So everybody, acidulated water, right? If you consider, so water, it will decompose into hydrogen and oxygen. So suppose if we take 1 mole, so here you will get 22.4, this is 22.4 upon 2. So this will become 22.4 plus this is 11.2, correct? So it will become approximately 33.6. Next question is A giving B, P, Q, X, Y, C, D. Then the temperature coefficient is highest for which reaction? So everybody should know that according to Arrhenius equation, log K2 upon K1 is proportional to activation energy. So greater the activation energy, greater will be the temperature coefficient, because you have to bring the transition state. Hence answer is option B. So B means option will be 2, right? Next, Okay, dear students, now we will see question number 63. So, if d upon dx, the rate becomes 100 times when pH changes from 2 to 1, the order of the reaction, right? So, now pH is 2, that means H plus concentration will be 10 power minus 2. Then for this rate R1, let us say R will be equal to K into concentration of H plus ion power n. So, this will be equal to K into 10 power minus 2 power n, equation number 1. At pH is equal to 1, H plus concentration is equal to 10 power minus 1. Therefore, R2 will be equal to R K into H plus concentration power n. So, this is K into 10 power minus 2 here, no? 10 power minus 1 into n. Equation 2. If you solve equation 2, you will get answer option 2. Okay? It will be second order reaction. For a hypothetical reaction A to B, the value of rate constant K. So, K is equal to 5 into 10 to the power of minus 2 seconds inverse. So, if you are a good student, it is very clear that from these units you can see it is first order reaction. From units only order is coming out. That means order n is equal to 1. But let us see what is asking. The value of rate constant. If the initial concentration is 10 molar, okay, what is the initial rate of the reaction? So, hence R is equal to K into A to the power n. We know this comes actually from experiment, but from units also we can derive it. So, what is it telling? What will be the initial rate? So, R is equal to rate is how, K is how much? 5 into 10 to the power of minus 2 into 10 power 1. So, on solving, answer is 0.5. If you solve this, 0.5 molarity per second, okay, or moles per liter per second also we can write. Next, fluorine is powerful oxidant among the halogens. Yes, fluorine is the most powerful oxidant, correct statement. Due to fluorine has low bond dissociation energy. Yes, because of electron density. Don't say electron density, say high electron density, right? In the light and highest magnitude of high attraction. Yes, small size. Remember all of you all, the concept here is smaller the size, higher the hydration energy. He means hydration energy, correct. So, higher the magnitude of, yes, correct, because small size it can get more hydrated towards the water molecules. So, now what is the question? The question is which is correct, A and R are true. Okay, both are correct statements. 66. Lactose is reducing sugar. See everybody, all disaccharides except sucrose is reducing. Correct? So, lactose is reducing, correct. Lactose, cellobiose, maltose, all are reducing only. In lactose, the anomeric carbon alpha D galactose is not involved in glycosidic linkage. Wrong, because lactose, if you hydrolyze, you will get what? Glucose plus galactose. Glucose, if you see, this is glucose. If you draw galactose, one, two, three, and 4 here. So, So everybody can see this is 1, 2, 3, this is 4. So glucose and galactose are C4 apomers. So this statement is a wrong statement. Hence statement 1 is correct, 2 is incorrect. Next, very easy question, very easy question. A colorless solid, that means this is a salt. On heating with sulfuric acid in copper or manganese dioxide releases reddish brown fumes. So mostly it should be from nitrogen dioxide. Reddish, it can also be bromide also, chances are there. Reddish, actually bromine is orange, we say orange brown, orangish color, but imagine bromine also possible for some time because they have same colors. If you put in water, you will get clear solution, okay, soluble in water, nice. Then if you put in ammonium chloride and ammonium hydroxide, chromium aluminum family, are you following? Gelatinous white PPT is nothing but it is due to formation of aluminum hydroxide. That means if you see the options, all here chlorine is there, not possible. Here nitrite is there, not possible. So nitrate or copper is possible, but here gelatinous white PPT is not given. Copper with ammonium will give you ammonium blue complex. So if it is copper plus 2 with ammonium chloride, it will give you what color? Blue color, due to the formation of tetramine complex. Hence answer is option 3. Right, next problem is, if the IUPAC name of an element anium is incorrect. So here atomic number should be 111. If it is 111, to know the everything, first you should find the group number. So reference I will take as 118, that is nothing but inert gas. So if it is 7, if it is 8A, here 7, here 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, D block. So here I have to take 118, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, okay. Actually from here, after third day, here only D block starts, correct? Here only D block starts, correct? Okay, 12. Then comes 111. So now in D block, if you see, this should belong to zinc, cadmium, mercury family, and this is copper, silver, gold family. That means the element 111 should belong to copper, silver, gold family. Now we can solve the multiple choices. It has pseudo inert gas configuration in +1, correct? Copper also will show pseudo inert gas configurations, correct? It belongs to 8th period of periodic table, wrong. How? I will tell you. Copper is 4s1, 5s1, 6s1, then 7s1 should come. This is wrong. It is a transition element, correct. It shows similarity in properties with coinage metals, obviously copper, silver, gold. Hence option is, second one is wrong. Compounds on hydrogenation produces optically inactive compounds. So optically inactive compounds, if you see, here hydrogenation you got this, here hydrogenation you got this, here on hydrogenation you got this, and this one, bromine is above the plane. So he is saying the compound that on hydrogenation produces optically inactive compound. So here you can see this is sigma is absent here, correct? So this is optically active. So A can produce. That if A can produce, then 3 and 4 cannot be the answer here. Let us see B. B, sigma is present. So optically inactive. B cannot be the answer. If B cannot be the answer, then left over is option second one. What is asking? 1 second. Okay, produce optically inactive. Sorry, I am doing optically active. I am doing reverse. I am doing. Okay. Otherwise, I'll do in my rough page. Here I'll write active, inactive. So optically active, who is producing? A will produce optically active. C will produce optically active. Inactive will produce, B will produce. Okay. And D will produce. Now the question is optically inactive. Optically inactive is BD, right? So I have done here error. Actually, I was going in active mode, right? Consider two reactions given below. A on ozonolysis will give ethane 1,2 dicarbaldehyde, ethane 1,2 dicarbaldehyde and glycol. So everyone, second B on ozonolysis gives 5-oxo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-oxo hexanol. The reactant A and B are. Now if you go reverse, remove the oxygens. So if you remove the oxygens, two carbons here. So here you can see, if you cut from here, you will get these two products. There is glycol, this is succinaldehyde. Next, this compound, if you go reverse, right. So this is compound A, compound B. Okay. Next, which of the following is incorrect? Regarding the species given as C minus 4, N minus 3, O minus 2, Mg plus 2. All have same, all are isoelectronic configuration. Yes. So C minus 4, N minus 3, O minus 2, Mg plus 2, all of them will have 10 electrons. Okay. So this is correct, all have same electronic configurations. They are isoelectronic species because same electronic configuration means neon gas configuration. Size increases with increase in atomic number. No. Size of ion directly proportional to negative charge. So this is the wrong statement. All have different values of effective nuclear charge. Yes. Z effective is different because it depends upon sigma. Okay, Slater rule. Now next is the incorrect order of acidity is. We have done this in beginning of the class also, you can see. So acidic strength is proportional to minus effect. It is proportional to Ka value. So here you can see actually para is more acidic. Ortho is less acidic because of intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Okay, and here you have less minus I effect. Hence, first one only is wrong. Second one is correct because you can see 3 fluorines, 2 fluorines, 1 fluorine. Okay, fine. Next, second one formic because hydrogen is neutral group. This will act like plus I group or plus M group, you can say. This is right. Next, carboxylic acids are more than phenols and more than alkynes. Yes, if you want, you can add more here. They are more than alkenes and they are more than alkanes. Right? Next one. How many carbons are there here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 carbons are there. So 7 carbons if we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And everybody knows this is aromatization reaction. And here you are going to get what? Toluene. Toluene, if you oxidize with KMnO4, you will get what? Benzoic acid. Benzoic acid, soda lime heating, decarboxylation, and you will get benzene. Next, option A. Option A, isobutane. If you treat with KMnO4, it will give you tertiary butyl alcohol, oxidation. Option B, methane on oxidation. Are you following? In presence of copper will give methanol. Option C, methane on oxidation with molybdenum oxide, right, will give methanol. Option 4, ethane on oxidation with manganese acetate will give you acetic acid. So, you can directly match the answers. Next, chromium and aniline boiling point. You see the difference of boiling point. If you see, it is high, 334, 475. So, simply you can separate them easily by what method? Distillation. In which of the following reaction the final product formed is incorrect? So, this is Friedel-Crafts alkylation. So, here you will get ethyl benzene. Okay, I will not show here because already answers are shown. Again, I am showing no logic in that. So, ethyl benzene, correct. Addition of water, Markovnikov rule, correct. Phenol with zinc forms benzene, correct. Here you can see when this one, option 4th, if you see. So, CH3 C triple bond CH, if you add water, then addition will happen as per Markovnikov rule, correct. This will undergo tautomerism, sorry, and this will give you CH3 C double bond to CH3. But here he gave propanol, wrong. Which of the following species can act as oxidizing agent? So, dear students, the concept for this is higher the positive oxidation state, higher the oxidizing ability. Hence, answer is option 4. Pick an ether which can't be prepared by Williamson synthesis. So, you can prepare this you can prepare, this you cannot prepare. Why? I will show you. So, what you are doing is to prepare that ether which is shown on the diagram, you have to take this one and you have to take one halogen, this one. So, this should attack here, this should go and should give you option 4. Now, you can see here this is connected to one sp2 carbon and is very busy in resonance, bond is strong and it will not break. Hence, 4th one you cannot prepare. Next, match the following. So, let us do answers. So, this is PHCl, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, this is ABCD. Acha, coupling, okay, sorry. He is asking the nature of the question, okay. Here, you will get PHCl, This is Sandmeyer reaction, option 4. Copper in HCl. Copper is used, so this is Gattermann's reactions. 3 means B3. A4, B3. In examination of your NEET, directly you can write the answer. How? A4, B3. Direct you can see A4, B3 is here only. But I will show you complete. Here methyl chloride, okay, Friedel-Crafts reaction. This is 2. This is coupling reaction. In option D, coupling will happen, option 1. Find the product of oxidation of iodide, very famous, you will get iodide ion, very commonly asked, very famous question, routinely asked question, iodide ion. Right now, now everybody can see in first step HCl is lost. So option A will be right. This if you treat with bromination, so hence you have to get para-bromo product. Lithium aluminum hydride reduction, that means here you will get NH, Br, and this will become CH2PH. Okay, amide with lithium aluminum hydride becomes amine. This is the concept, right? Next, aldehydes which do not have alpha hydrogen undergo disproportionate reaction on heating with concentrated alkali. Nothing but he is talking about Cannizzaro reaction. Correct. A is correct. He is asking, so 2 cannot be the answer. Benzaldehyde and acetophenone on reaction with dilute alkali at 293 Kelvin, okay, gives benzyl lactone, acetophenone. So nothing but this is nothing but a type of aldol, or more specifically speaking, this is Claisen-Schmidt reaction. One have alpha hydrogen and one do not have alpha hydrogen. So hence this is acetophenone. What is telling? Benzaldehyde. So benzaldehyde, right? Cyclohexanone contains 4 ionizable hydrogen atoms. Yes. Suppose example, if you take this one and if you put in D2O in presence of OD minus for long time, then to this side, they will be, so this is correct, this is also correct. All the 3 statements are correct. Next, inductive effect and resonance effect are permanent effects. Yes. Electromagnetic effect is a temporary effect. Yes. And this is caused only in presence of reagent. Aniline do not undergo Friedel-Crafts reaction. Yes, because aniline, what it will do, the lone pairs present on nitrogen, okay, one second. The lone pairs which are present on nitrogen, in Friedel-Crafts we are having Lewis acid, AlCl3. So hence it will deactivate the Lewis acid. Statement is correct. So aniline deactivates Lewis acid. Aniline reaction with concentrated sulfuric acid followed by heating forms deuterium. This statement is saying correct, but a bit clarity is not there, because it will form sulfonalic acid we call deuterium. Yeah, we can broadly say, but if you correlate with amino acid, it is wrong then, because deuterium means here he is talking about this one, correct? Strong acid, strong base, internal transfer of proton. So it is a type of deuterium, but actually the word deuterium is more broadly applicable to amino acids and proteins. Okay, broadly speaking we can say, but still I suspect the statement should be reframed. No problem, it's okay. Good question. Paper is very good, paper is excellent, very nice paper, very standard paper given by the faculty. Next, which of the following amine or reaction is the Hinsberg reagent give soluble product? So everybody should know, whenever you take primary amines and treat with benzene sulfonyl chloride, then you will get this one. This will further react with the base and forms a salt, right? So hence it should be a primary amine. This is primary amine, this is tertiary amine, this is secondary amine, this is secondary amine. So indirectly he is talking about which amine? Primary amine he is talking about. Okay. Next, which of the following compounds is least reactive in SN1? So obviously methyl halides, very famous for SN2. The incorrect match is 4-chloro. Okay, this is straightforward IUPAC, 4-chloro 1,3-dinitrobenzene. Error. Noble gas have positive electron gain enthalpy. Correct order of electron gain enthalpy. So this is actually, dear student, this question is actually database. Okay, so sometimes you have to recollect some database values. Okay, so neon is having the least, krypton and argon almost the same. Remember the 2 points, it will be helpful for you in exam. Among this, platinum -2 is square planar and these are tetrahedral. Yeah, this statement is correct. Nickel is square planar, no. See, nickel with weak field ligand is generally sp3. Nickel +2 with strong field ligand is generally dsp2. Okay, for example here Ni F4 -2, here Ni CN4 -2. The last question, very easy question. So dear students, extraction of or synthesis or preparation of sodium chromate. So here this should be Na2CrO4 and Y is in sodium, so it should be Na2Cr2O7. So everybody know that CrO4 -2 is more favorable in basic medium and Cr2O7 -2 is more favorable in acidic medium, and both will have the same oxidation state of +6. Okay, dear students. So thank you all of you all. Wish you all the very best for NEET examination, and I appreciate and thank the paper setter who has made a very good question. Okay, but the only thing is this paper is very standard and such models are expected in NEET examination, and hence keeping that in view, the paper setter has prepared the very good paper, and I thank him and thank you all and wish you all the very best for your coming up NEET examinations. Thank you all of you all. Bye bye.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Grand Test 8 solution series. So today we are going to see the solutions for the paper number 8 of your Grand Test, and specifically the botany part. Okay. So in this paper, the botany part was relatively easy to moderate. Okay, the level of the questions were not that hard, but it was around moderate level. But in the actual NEET examination, you can even expect questions from this standard as well as standard above this. Okay, so we'll see some solutions. Okay, and if you are facing any problems, any doubts in that question, you most probably will be cleared in this solution series. Okay, so let's start with the first question of the botany part. Is this one, 92, question number 92, which is saying which of the following belongs to the family Massidae. So this family Massidae, which of the options belong to this family Massidae? It's your housefly. Okay, Musca domestica. Okay, Musca domestica housefly, the family of that is Massidae. Okay, simple question from the living world chapter. Okay, next question. So the question is asking you, question number 93, it's asking you, read the following with the respect of ascomycetes. So there are some 4 statements related to ascomycetes and we have to choose the set of correct statements. So the first one is, edible members are truffles and morels, which is true. In ascomycetes, we have truffles and morels, which are edible mushrooms. Okay. Second one is, sexual spores are formed exogenously. Exogenously means outside a sac-like structure. If a spore is formed outside a body, it's called exogenously formed. If it is formed inside a body, inside a sac-like, inside a particular structure, we call it endogenously. So sexual spores are formed exogenously, wrong. In ascomycetes, the sexual spores called ascospores, they are formed inside a asci-like structure, a sac-like structure which is called asci, and that is why the sexual spores or ascospores are formed endogenously, not exogenously, so B is wrong. Third one, ascospores are formed endogenously. Yes, ascospores are the sexual spores of ascomycetes and they are formed inside a sac-like structure called asci. So that's why we say that they are formed endogenously. Last one, yeasts are non-mycelial. Yes, yeast is a unicellular algae. It comes under ascomycetes. It does not have mycelia. It does not have hyphae-like structure. Okay, so which of the following statements are correct? A, C and D. So option 3 is your correct answer. Next question. Some statements are given. Okay, question number 95. Some statements are given below. You have to choose the correct ones. Okay. So first one. In gymnosperms, leaves are well adapted to withstand extremes of temperature, wind and humidity, which is correct. Okay. In gymnosperms, the leaves are very well adapted to stand extreme temperatures, extreme humidity, extreme wind. Second one, in cycas, foliage leaves are pinnately compound. Yes, in cycas, the leaves are pinnately compound for some time. Okay, so this is also correct. The third one, stems are branched in Pinus and Cedrus. Yes, the stems are branched in Pinus and Cedrus, unbranched in cycas. The last one, in Pinus, male cones and female cones are born on a different tree. No, they are born on the same tree. They are monoecious. Pinus is monoecious plant. Both male cones and female cones are on the same tree. Cycas is dioecious. In cycas, the male cone is on a separate plant, female cone is on a separate plant. So here, which of the following statements are correct? Only A, B and C, option number 2. Okay. Next question. So A to D, some statements are given. Again, you have to choose the correct ones. So first one, leaves are most important vegetative organs for photosynthesis, which is true. Leaves are very important organs for photosynthesis and they are a vegetative organ most specifically. Second one, more than 2 leaves arise at each node in the sunflower plant. So if there is a plant, this is one node, this is another node, it's saying more than 2 leaves, more than 2 leaves, 1 leaf, 2 leaf, 3rd leaf, 4th leaf, 5th, 6th. So when more than 1 leaf is arising from a single node, that kind of phyllotaxy is called world phyllotaxy, which is seen in Alstonia. In sunflower, we have alternate phyllotaxy, means from one node there is only one leaf, okay, and alternate manners, okay. So this is wrong. C. In palmately compound leaves, the leaflets are attached at a common point, that is the tip of the petiole. This is true. Palmately compound leaf example is silk cotton, in which what happens? This is your petiole, okay, this is your petiole, and the tip of the petiole all the leaflets will arise, okay. Okay, this is your palmately compound leaf, so this is true. Last one, in alternate type of phyllotaxy, a single leaf arises from each node. Yes, in alternate phyllotaxy, a single leaf is arising from each node. Okay, so which are the correct ones? A, C and D only. Option number 4 is correct. Next question, which of the following is not a significance of predators? Means it is not related to predators, it is wrong about predators. First one, they act as conducts for energy transfer across trophic levels. Yes, they form a chain through which energy is transferred from one trophic level to another trophic level. So it is true. For example, there are plants. Plants are eaten by herbivores. So technically herbivores is also a predator. Since it's eating a plant, it's still a predator, right? The prey is plant, the predator is herbivores. So at this trophic level, herbivores becomes the predator. So it is transferring, the energy is transferred from this prey plant to the predator herbivores. Then this herbivore is eaten by carnivores. So at this trophic level, the carnivores is the predator, herbivores is the prey. So energy is now transferred from herbivores to carnivores. So we can say that predators is the conduct of energy flow across trophic levels. Second one, they keep the prey population under control. Yes, if there are no predators, the prey population will divide numerous times and the population will increase at a large amount. The population will be very, very high, which can lead to competition, interspecific competition, and lead to the extinction of prey species. So predators, they first of all keep the prey population in control, and they also avoid that the prey species do not get extinct. Okay, so this is second is correct. Third one, predation causes extinction of prey species. No, predation never causes extinction of prey species. Predators are very, very careful. They never over exploit their prey. Okay, they always save some amount of prey so that they can reproduce and keep on living, so that their species, the prey species, do not get extinct. Okay, so third is wrong. The answer is 3. Last one is obviously correct. Next question. So here we have to match. Chlorophyll A only. Chlorophyll A only is found in Anabaena, which is a blue-green algae, a cyanobacteria. Chlorophyll A and C is found in brown algae. Brown algae is Ectocarpus. Chlorophyll A and D is found in red algae. Red algae is Porphyra. Chlorophyll A and B is found in green algae, which is your Chara. So which is the correct match? The first one. Option number 1 is your answer. Next, so here 2 diagrams have been given, A and B. You have to identify what they represent respectively. So A here is twisted estivation, B here is free central placentation. All the means the ovules are, it's in the middle, in the center of the placenta. That is why it is called free central placentation. And here the petals are overlapping each other, but in a in a designed manner, in a proper manner. Okay, so that is your twisted estivation. So the answer is 2. Next question. Epidermal cells, there are 2 statements. First is, epidermal cells are parenchymatous with small amounts of cytoplasm lining the cell wall and a large vacuole, which is true. So epidermal cells, okay, they will have a large vacuole and the cytoplasm will be around the periphery. here lining the cell wall. This is how the parenchyma cells of epidermal cells look like. So, this is true. Second is primary plant body has epidermis as the outermost layer. Yes, the primary plant body has the outermost layer as epidermis. So, both statements are correct. Okay, first is your correct answer. Next, which of the following groups exhibits highest level of species diversity or highest species diversity? Is the answer is beetles. We have around 3 lakh beetle species, okay, compared to others. So, beetle species has the highest diversity. Okay, this question answer for this question is in the first paragraph of the last chapter of grade 12, biodiversity and conservation, the first paragraph. Okay. Next question. Here we have to match again. So, what does ribosomes do? Ribosome is involved in protein synthesis. ER, endoplasmic reticulum, what it does? It is involved in glycogen metabolism. Okay. Lysosomes, it has hydrolytic enzymes which digest the complex organic molecule. Thylakoids has the photosynthetic pigments. Okay. So, which is the correct answer? The fourth one. Fourth is the correct match. Next, which of the following is a prokaryote? Mucor. Mucor is a fungus. It's a Phycomycetes. It's a fungus. It's a eukaryote. Volvox, algae, eukaryote. Viola, it's a angiosperm, eukaryote. Anabaena is your prokaryote, a blue-green algae, cyanobacteria. Answer is fourth. Next, two statements have been given again. So, mitochondria and chloroplasts are semi-autonomous cell organelles, which is true. What is semi-autonomous cell organelles? Those cell organelles which has their independent DNA, independent RNA, independent ribosomes, and they can, replicate independently of the nucleus. Okay. Whenever nucleus is replicating, it doesn't matter, mitochondria and chloroplasts, they can replicate on their own. That is your semi-autonomous organelle. Okay. So, this is true. Second one, mitochondria and chloroplasts are able to synthesize all of their required enzymes. No, they are able to synthesize some of their required enzymes, not all of them. They are still dependent on nucleus for many of the enzymes and proteins. Some of them can be synthesized independently, not all of them. So, here statement 1 is correct, but second is incorrect. Option number 3 is your answer. Next question. Which of the following represents the difference between gross primary productivity and net primary productivity? The answer is 3. Energy utilized by plants for their respiration, right? Gross primary productivity is the amount of biomass formed after plants utilize solar energy to do photosynthesis and make a organic molecule or make the biomass of the plant. That is your gross primary productivity. But not all the biomass which is formed by the plant is available for consumption by the animals or the herbivores. No, some of them is even used for respiration by plants, because plants also has to survive, right? So, some of it will be used, or you could say not some of it, quite amount of the biomass which is synthesized by plant is used during respiration. And whatever is left is your net primary productivity, which is the available biomass for the plant for the animal consumption or the herbivores consumption. So, what is the difference between gross primary productivity and net primary productivity? GPP, you just bring it here, minus NPP, R will go on the other side. So, R, respiration is your answer, means energy utilized by plants for their respiration. Okay, third is your correct answer. Next, homologous chromosomes separate while sister chromatids remain associated at their centromeres during anaphase of meiosis 1. So, during meiosis 1, mostly what is separating? Homologous chromosomes which has done the recombination process. For example, this is your this is your cell. This is your This is your one homologous chromosome, okay. So this will separate, okay, this will separate. I'll draw another pair for your understanding. Okay. This will separate these two homologous chromosomes which are still joined at the point of recombination here or here. They will separate first in the meiosis 1, in the anaphase 1 of the meiosis 1, okay. So this is correct. Second is centromere. After this separation, after anaphase 1, means basically after meiosis 1, we will get 2 cells, okay, 2 cells. This is how we get the 2 cells. The chromosome is half. One pair of means 2 homologous chromosomes, or you could say this part of the homologous chromosomes goes to one cell, this part goes to another cell. Same for the other pair also, okay. Now, what will happen in meiosis 2 or anaphase 2? Centromere splitting. This centromere will split, okay. This centromere will split, okay. So centromere splitting and sister chromatid separation happens during anaphase 2, okay. And what happens after anaphase 2? We get 4 cells, okay, 2 from each. Each will have separate chromatids, okay, like this. Okay, this is the structure we get at the end of the meiosis 2 or anaphase 2. So both statements here are correct, okay. Next question. An average human gene consists of approximately how many base pairs or bases? The answer is 3. 3000 base pairs or bases. Next, here we have to match. So this is talking about the meiosis 1 phases, okay. So zygotine, diakinesis, packetine, these are the parts of prophase 1. So in prophase 1 we have various stages. First is the leptotene stage, where chromosome condensation is the one which is happening. Zygotene stage, synapses formation, so the homologous chromosome, they start to come together to form synapses, okay, synaptonormal complex, okay. Next is packetine. In packetine stage, the actual recombination is happening, recombination nodule is formed, okay. Next is diplotene. In diplotene, the synaptonormal complex which is formed, it starts to resolve or dissolve, okay. And last is diakinesis, where the chiasmata is basically the point of attachment of homologous chromosome that has not still separated, okay, that leads to formation of X-shaped structure called chiasmata. That chiasmata is terminalized during diakinesis, okay. So let's match now. In packetine, what is happening? Recombination, the recombinant nodule is formed. Metaphase 1 is after prophase. So in metaphase, what will happen? Bivalent chromosome will align on the equatorial plate. Diakinesis, terminalization of chiasmata, and zygotene stage leads to synapses or synaptonormal complex formation. So what is the answer? The second match is the correct combination, okay. Next, anaphase 2 resembles the anaphase of mitosis, as they both involve splitting of centromeres, okay. Mitosis, in anaphase of mitosis also centromeres are split. In anaphase 2 of meiosis 2 also centromeres are split, okay. Next, so we have to select the incorrect statements. The first is chromosomal duplication occurs in S phase. Chromosomal or DNA duplication, same thing, yes, occurs in the S phase, which is correct. Next, protein synthesis occurs only in G2 phase. No, we can say most of the proteins are synthesized in G2 phase, but only in G2 phase is not correct. Proteins are synthesized throughout the interphase. It is synthesized in G1, it is synthesized in S, it is also synthesized in G2. In all the phases of interphase, protein is synthesized, not just in G2 phase. Okay, so this is incorrect. Third one, nuclear membrane disappears during diakinesis. Diakinesis is the end of the prophase 1. So, by the end of prophase, obviously the nuclear membrane will disappear. So, this is correct. Next, nucleolus, Golgi complex, ER are reformed during prophase, not prophase. They are reformed during telophase. Okay. And the last one, crossing over takes place between non-sister chromatids of homologous chromosomes. Yes. For example, this is your one chromosome. These two are sister chromatids because they are attached to the same centromere. Okay. Then we have another one. Okay. So this is another one. So these two, this chromatid on different centromere, they are your non-sister chromatids, and non-sister chromatids will undergo recombination. Okay. So which are incorrect? We have to choose incorrect ones, right? So B and D are incorrect. The option number 4 is correct. Okay. Next question. In C4 plants, the initial and the final CO2 fixation takes place in which cell respectively? The answer is second one, mesophyll cells and the bundle sheath cells. So the first CO2 fixation happens in the mesophyll cells, right, where carbon dioxide is coming and it's binding with phosphoenol pyruvate to form a C4 acid, which is your oxaloacetic acid, which is then converted into aspartic and malic acid and transported to bundle sheath cells, where decarboxylation will happen. CO2 will be released, C3 acid will be released. This C3 acid will go back to the mesophyll cells for regeneration. The CO2 which is released here, it will be undergoing Calvin cycle, and in Calvin cycle we know what happens. In Calvin cycle, the CO2 is fixed again by RUBP, the presence of rubisco, to form PGA molecule, 3-PGA, 3-phosphoglyceric acid molecule. So first CO2 fixation is happening in the mesophyll cells. Second CO2 fixation is happening by the Calvin cycle in the bundle sheath cells. So the answer is 2. Next, which of the following features are similar between non-cyclic photophosphorylation and cyclic photophosphorylation? So in both of them, ATP are formed. Okay. ATP are formed, both of them has PS1. PS2 is only found in non-cyclic phosphorylation, not in cyclic one. So if PS2 is not found, that's why in cyclic one, NADPH is also not formed, only ATP is formed. Okay, so which is common? B and D, the option number 3rd. Okay. Next, Down syndrome is due to trisomy of 21st chromosome. Trisomy means there is an extra copy of 21st chromosome. We are diploid organisms. We always have 2 copies of each chromosome. Okay, means a pair of chromosomes. So for example, this is your normal chromosome number 21, 2 copy. Okay, but in trisomy what happens? There is an extra copy. This is your trisomy of 21. This extra copy can happen due to abnormal chromatid separation. Okay, chromatid separation during gamete formation was not proper. That's why there is an extra copy. So this defected gamete can be male gamete or it can be female gamete also. Okay, this just that depends on the chance. Okay, so it's caused by non-disjunction either during spermatogenesis, which is sperm formation, or during oogenesis, which is your egg formation. Okay, and that is why it led to formation of extra copy of chromosome number 21, which led to Down syndrome. Okay. Next, statement based again. So in respiration, glucose is not oxidized in one step but in several small steps. Yes, glucose is carrying a very large amount of energy. It is not broken in one single step. It takes a lot of small steps to break it so that energy released from glucose is synthesized, is utilized efficiently. So first statement is correct. Second is saying the complete combustion of glucose which produces CO2 and H2O as end products yields energy, most of which is given out as heat. Yes, the complete combustion of glucose or complete oxidation of glucose will give you CO2 and H2O and large amount of energy which is mostly released as heat. Okay. So statement, both statements are correct statements. Okay. Next question. Arrange the following in ascending order based on their numbers in India. Okay. So the answer for this one is first one, ascending orders. Okay. So B, biodiversity hotspots is the least in number. Biodiversity hotspots in India is only 4. Next is biosphere reserves. Biosphere reserves is 18 in number in India. Next is national park. National park is around 107 in India. And lastly, we have wildlife sanctuaries. Wildlife sanctuaries is around 573 in India. Okay. In India, this is the numbers of all these biosphere reserves, hotspots, national parks and wildlife sanctuary. So if we arrange it ascendingly, the first is the correct match. What will be the number of, okay, this is a very nice question, okay. What will be the number of ATP synthesized only through ETS, means electron transport system, from one molecule of acetyl-CoA during aerobic respiration? So first of all, how ATP is synthesized during electron transport system in ETS? By oxidation of NADH and FADH2, right? We are breaking NADH into NAD plus and electrons are transported. We are breaking FADH2 into FAD and electrons are transported throughout the electron system and ultimately taken by oxygen. Basically, we are changing the proton gradient which leads to ATP production. And we know that one NADH is almost equivalent to 3 ATP. So if we are breaking one NADH, we are almost releasing 3 ATP. One FADH2 is approximately equal to 2 ATP. Okay. So in electron transport system, this is how energy is released. So we will need NADH and FADH2. Okay. So here what is saying, from one molecule of acetyl-CoA. So acetyl-CoA is formed after pyruvic acid is converted to acetyl-CoA in the link reaction, means whatever we have to do means whatever NADH and FADH2 we will get it from the after of the acetyl-CoA, which is your Krebs cycle. So whatever NADH and FADH2 we are getting from Krebs cycle. So this one molecule of acetyl-CoA, when it goes to Krebs cycle, how many NADH is formed? 3 NADH. In a Krebs cycle, when one acetyl-CoA, one Krebs cycle means when one acetyl-CoA is completely oxidized, it releases 3 NADH and 1 FADH2. You can refer the Krebs cycle chart in your NCERT. Okay, 3 NADH and 1 FADH2. So now just we have to convert this into ATP. This will go to electron transport system, right? It will go to electron transport system and form ATP. So 3 NADH means, see, 1 NADH means 3 ATP. So 3 NADH means 3 into 3, 9 ATP molecules. 1 FADH2 means 2 ATPs. So 1 FADH2 means 1 into 2, 2 ATPs. Or total how many? 9 plus 2. We get 11 ATP molecules from one acetyl-CoA molecule when it goes for electron transport system. Okay. So the answer is 11 ATP. Okay. Next question. You have to match again. Molecular oxygen, O2. What is it doing? It's a hydrogen acceptor, final hydrogen acceptor in the electron transport system. It drives the whole aerobic respiration process. Electron acceptor is cytochrome C. Cytochrome C accepts electrons from complex 3 and transfers it to complex 4. Cytochrome C is a mobile electron carrier. Okay. Pyruvate dehydrogenase leads to formation of acetyl-CoA. Pyruvic acid to acetyl-CoA formation is catalyzed by this enzyme pyruvate dehydrogenase. And lastly, decarboxylation is leading to formation of alpha ketoglutaric acid. Decarboxylation means removal of carbon dioxide. So from isocitric or isocitrate, we are removing a carbon dioxide molecule, that is your decarboxylation, and it leads to formation of alpha ketoglutaric acid. So what is the answer for this one? 1. 1 is the correct match. Okay. Next, auxin. What does auxin do? Auxin will induce apical dominance, means it will only allow the apical bud to grow, not the lateral bud. That is your apical dominance. Gibberellins. What does gibberellins do? Gibberellins will induce seed germination. Okay, it will lead to induction of, or basically start the seed germination. Cytokinin delays leaf senescence, and abscisic acid is a stress hormone. Okay, so which is the correct match? 4th one is your correct match. Okay. Next question. Which of the following statement is incorrect? Okay, remember, incorrect regarding growth. The first is growth is irreversible and permanent process, which is true. We cannot reverse growth. Okay, it's not possible to reverse growth. So growth is a irreversible and permanent process. Epigeal germination occurs in bean seeds, which is also true. What is epigeal germination? In epigeal germination, hypocotyle for the seed. Okay, hypocotyle will grow in the ground, towards the ground, and will push the cotyledons above the soil surface. That is your epigeal germination, which is found in bean seeds, which is true. Third one, vacuolation of cells starts in the maturation phase of growth. Wrong. Vacuolation means vacuole is enlarging, water is entering the cell, vacuole is enlarging, which leads to cell enlargement and elongation. So vacuolation of cells means it is elongating. So this is not happening in maturation phase, it happens in elongation phase. Okay. So third is wrong about growth. Okay. Next, in an ecosystem with 3 trophic levels, what percent of energy from the second trophic level is transferred to the third trophic level? Simple 10% law, from the lower trophic level to the higher trophic level, only 10% of energy is transferred. Okay, so from second trophic to third trophic level, what percent will be transferred? 10%. The answer is 3. Okay. Next, assertion reasoning. In deep water rice plants, ethylene is responsible for keeping the leaves or the upper part of the shoot above water. Yes, ethylene is responsible to keep the leaves and the upper part of shoot above water, so that there can be appropriate or proper gaseous exchange. Okay, because if it is underwater, gaseous exchange is affected. Reason, ethylene promotes root growth and root hair formation. This is also true. Both are true, but reason is not properly explaining the assertion. Okay, so the answer becomes second one. Both A and R is true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. Okay. Next question. So we have some statements. Again, we have to see how many of them are correct. First one. The egg apparatus consists of 2 synergids and 1 antipodal cells. No. Egg apparatus means 2 synergids and 1 egg cell. Okay, so this is wrong. Next one. Transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of another flower of the same plant is called gaetogamy, which is correct. For example, this is your flower number 1, this is your flower number 2, but they are on the same plant. Okay, so from anther, pollen grains are transferred to the stigma of the another flower, but they are on the same plant. So this is your gatenogamy. So this is correct. Third one, pollen grains coming in contact with stigma is a chance factor in both wind and water pollination. Yes, it's a chance factor. It can come in contact, it cannot come in contact also. It depends on chance or luck. Last, pollination by water is more common. No, pollination by wind is more common. Water is rare. Pollination by water is rare. So how many of them are correct? 2 statements are correct statements. Okay. Next question, we have to match here. So the first one is Raufolfia vomitoria. Raufolfia vomitoria is a medicinal plant. Okay. Caspian is an extinct subspecies of tiger. Latana is an invasive weed, and Clarius garipinus is your exotic species of catfish. Exotic species means invasive species in a word. Okay. So the answer is first one. First combination is correct. Next, ovule is one or few. Pollen grains are dry and numerous in flowers pollinated by its wind. In wind pollinated plants or flowers, ovules is one or very few, and the pollen grains are very dry, they are very large in number. Okay, they are non-sticky basically. Next question. So statement 1 is saying that polygenic inheritance involves the combined effect of multiple genes on a single character. Yes. For example, skin color. Skin color in humans is controlled by more than one genes or more than 2 genes. For example, A, B, C. So what will happen? All the genes will cause a additive effect on the skin color. If this is your genotype, the human being will have the darkest skin color. If this is your genotype, the human will have the lightest skin color. Okay. So it is the combined effect of multiple genes on a single character, that is your polygenic inheritance. Next, ABO blood group is an example of polygenic inheritance. No, it's an example of codominance. ABO blood group is controlled by single gene, I gene. It has multiple alleles. It can have IA allele, IB allele, small I allele, but it does not mean there is more than one gene. No, it is only single gene I. So it's not polygenic inheritance. Okay, so statement 1 is correct, but second is incorrect. Okay. Next question. Okay, this is also a nice question, interesting question. So a plant of F1 generation has the genotype capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, capital C. On selfing of this plant, what is the phenotypic ratio in F2 generation? So we have what? We have the genotype of the plant capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, capital C. We are selfing this, self-pollination. Means same genotype will be there. So now automatically we will form what? Punnett square. For the formation of Punnett square, we will need the gametes. What are the gametes it will form? How we will know gametes? So we will do fork line method. So we have capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, capital C. So A means same type of, this is the same type, capital A, right? So there will be only one capital A. There are 2 B's. Okay, 2 B's are there, one capital, one small. So this capital A can combine with capital B. It can also combine with small b. C is again same, both are capital C. So it will be C only. So it will form 2 types of gametes, capital A, capital B, capital C. Both are, sorry, all 3 are dominant genes. Okay, capital A dominant, capital B dominant, capital C dominant. Capital A, small b, but capital C. Okay, so the phenotype for this one, both of these will be different. Here all 3 are dominant, but here B is small. So the phenotypes it will show will be different. So now we are having 2 types of gametes. So for both of them we will have 2 types of gametes. So now we will form a Punnett square. Okay. So first gamete A, B, C. Second gamete A, small b, capital C. For the second plant also we will have same gametes. Okay. Now let's see what will be the progeny. Okay. So this will be capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B, capital C, capital C. All of them are dominant, correct? Here, capital A, capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, capital C. Here also it will be the same phenotype because capital B is dominant, right? So it will be dominant over small b. Okay, capital B is dominant over small b. So automatically the phenotype will be same as the homozygous dominant. This is homozygous dominant. This is heterozygous dominant. Okay, so phenotypes will be same for both. This one again capital A, capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, capital C. Again heterozygous dominant, phenotype will be same as all these three. Last one capital A, but small b, capital C, capital C. Here the phenotype will be different because this is small b, okay. So see the gametes, they are different. Why? Because B is different. So if recessive comes, as homozygous comes, the phenotype will become different. So these three are having same phenotypes, but this one is having different phenotypes, means ratio becomes, phenotypic ratio becomes 3:1. The answer is 1. Okay. Next question. The question is, which of the following is incorrectly matched with respect to dual function? AUG. AUG is your start codon, it codes for methionine, correct. Nucleoside triphosphate is a substrate as well as energy source, correct. Release factor, transcription termination, release of polypeptide. Release factor releases the polypeptide because it's not a transcription termination, it is due to translation termination. Translation is terminated due to release factor. Okay, not transcription. So the answer is third one. This is incorrect. Okay. Next, the accessibility of promoter region of prokaryotic DNA to the RNA polymerase is in many cases regulated by interaction of proteins with sequences termed operators. This is correct. You can understand with the example of lac operon. So in lac operon, what is happening? This is your DNA, right? This is your DNA, but for the mRNA, so the RNA polymerase, it will need to interact with the various proteins like regulator, inducer, like that, repressor and inducer proteins, and then it will be able to bind to the promoter region, right. So basically you can understand this question with the help of lac operon, that the promoter region is accessible to the RNA polymerase, and because it is regulated by many proteins and also a sequence termed as operator. When operator is empty, then only transcription can happen by RNA polymerase. So this is example of the statement 1. Statement 2. The presence of introns is reminiscent of antiquity. Yes, introns are those part of DNA which are not coding for any proteins. So this is a old DNA which has now lost the function. So this is a sign of antique features. So that is why it is called reminiscent of antiquity. And the process of splicing represents dominance of DNA wall. Splicing is mostly done by RNA complexes. RNA and protein complexes together work to do splicing. Means removal of introns and joining of exons is your splicing. So this is mostly done by RNA and protein complexes, and that represents the dominance of DNA wall. So both statements are correct, sorry. Okay, 1 is your answer. Next question. There is a uniform distance between both strands of DNA helix. Yes, why? Because purines of one strand will bind with the pyrimidions of opposite strand with H bonds. Okay, both statements are correct and R is the correct explanation, means sorry. So here both strands, this is your purine. This purine is binding with the pyrimidine of opposite strand. If we have purine in the opposite strand, then here it will bind with pyrimidine. So this are automatically the complementary base pair, purine pyrimidine binding will automatically make the distance between the two strands very uniform. Okay. So 1 is your correct answer. Next question, the pyramid of energy in a sea ecosystem is inverted. Very, very wrong. Pyramid of energy is never inverted. Pyramid of energy is always upright. Pyramid of biomass. Okay, biomass is inverted in sea ecosystem, not energy. Second statement, in sea, small standing crop of phytoplankton supports a large standing crop of fish, which is true. Standing crop means available biomass at a particular trophic level. So phytoplanktons, their number is very high, but they are very small. Their biomass is very small when you compare it with fishes. But the fishes are dependent on these small phytoplanktons for survival. So that's why we say that small standing crop, small biomass of phytoplankton supports the large standing crop or large biomass of fishes. That's why pyramid of biomass is inverted in sea. Okay, so here what is your answer? Fourth, A is false but R is true. Next question. So here some statements are being given. So A, first statement, A is saying RNA provide template for synthesis of protein. rRNA? mRNA. mRNA will give you the template for protein synthesis. Second one, tRNA brings amino acid and reads genetic code. Yes, tRNA is the one adapter molecule which will bring the amino acid and will also read the mRNA template. Third one, RNA polymerase binds to promoter and initiates the transcription. Yes, it binds to the promoter and initiates transcription process. Last one, a segment of DNA coding for polypeptide is called intron. No, it's called exon. Intron is the inactive DNA, it does not code for anything. Okay, so what are correct? B and C are correct. The answer is fourth. Next, due to which property of DNA Watson and Crick proposed the idea of semi-conservative mode of DNA replication? It was due to the property of complementary base pairing, that A is binding with T, C is binding with G. This is the complementary base pairing. On the basis of that, they gave the idea that DNA replication is a semi-conservative mode. Next question, the biochemical nature of transforming principle. Biochemical nature means, see Griffith, when he gave the transforming principle, he just told that something is transferring from live R to the heat killed S phase, which is making it virulent. Something is transferred from the heat killed S phase to the live R cell, making the R cell virulent, and that is causing the pneumonia and mice to die. But he didn't specify what. So the biochemical nature of that thing which is transforming the bacteria was given by Avery, MacLeod and McCarthy. Okay. They found out that DNA was the one which is getting transferred. Okay. What is the percentage of sperms produced by male grasshoppers carrying a sex chromosome? So in male grasshoppers, we have something called male heterogamety. Same as in humans and in Drosophila, where male will produce two different types of chromosomes. In human means male do XY, in Drosophila also XY. But in grasshoppers, the male grasshoppers has XO. This X means 50% of gametes will have an X chromosome. O here means 0. 50% of gametes, of male gametes, does not have any chromosome at all, does not have any sex chromosome at all. That is what this O signifies. Okay. So carrying a sex chromosome means only 50% is carrying your X chromosome. So the answer is 50%. Okay. Next, which of the following best describes resource partitioning? The answer is third, that species utilize different resources or use the same resources in different ways to avoid competition. In NCERT, the examples is given by 5 warbler species. The warbler are a type of birds. They have different 5 warbler species. They live on the same tree, but they are avoiding competition by something called resource partitioning. Okay, they have different foraging times. They have different foraging ways. Okay, in that way they are avoiding competition, and that is your resource partitioning. Okay. Next question, the last one. We have to match here. So lipase is used for detergent formulation. Streptokinase is used for removing blood clots. Means it is used to treat myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction basically happens when the amount of blood flow becomes very less in heart, and that is mostly caused by blood clotting. So this can be used to treat that. Statin is used to lower the blood cholesterol level. Citric acid, we get citric acid from Aspergillus niger. Okay, so the answer is third one. Third is the correct match. So this was about all the questions for the botany part. I hope your doubts or your understanding for all these questions are clear. Okay, so we'll meet in the next solution again. Till then, best of luck for your exams, and very good luck for your upcoming NEET examination. Okay, see you everyone.
Hello everyone. Let's see the zoology portion of GT8. So this is the first question. Identify the correct characteristic of roundworms. Mostly bisexual, fertilization is external, unsegmented, pseudocoelomate, and all are parasitic form. So definitely when we talk about roundworms or ascalmins, so these are unsegmented and pseudocoelomate. So correct answer for this question should be 3. Let's move on to our next question. The sinoatrial node is mainly composed of specialized. So it is a special cardiac muscle tissue. So correct answer for this question should be muscle cells. That means 2. Next question. So we have matched the following type of question. We need to match list 1 with list 2. So what is anti-serum? So anti-serum is an example of artificial passive immunity. Colostrum is natural passive immunity example. Chickenpox infection is example of natural active immunity. Injection of tetanus toxoid is artificial active immunity, and interferons will be innate immunity. So A is matched with 4. We got our answer just by matching the first option. The B is matched with 1, C with 3, D with 5, and E with 2. So correct answer for this question was 2. Next one. Observe the given figure. So this is the reproductive system of male frog, right? As you can see that there is kidney and there are testes, fat bodies. Now what is this? This is the kidney, right? So A should be kidney. Now coming to B, B will be the adrenal gland. Remember that. D is fat bodies and C will be urinogenital duct. So A here it is given vas deferens, which is wrong. C is given urinogenital duct, and B is given adrenal gland. So that is true. So correct answer for this question should be 2. Next one, read the following. So we have here few examples, and we need to find out which of the above are cartilaginous structures. So outer ear joint, yes, it is cartilaginous. Between adjacent bones of limbs and hands in adult, this is also cartilaginous. Not the tendons, not the ligaments, and not the vertebrae. These are bones. So the only option correct is A and B, which should be 3. Coming to the next question, we have statement 1 and statement 2. The ileum of each coccygeal bone articulate with the scapula. So that is wrong. The joint between the two coccygeal bone at the pubic symphysis allow free movement, not at all. So both the statements are incorrect here, right? So both the statements are incorrect. That means correct answer here should be 2. Next, the sperm head consists of. So when we talk about sperm head, right, it will have nucleus and mitochondria, no mitochondria in the middle piece. Elongated haploid nucleus, that is true. Centrioles not in the head, and in fact no centriole and mitochondria in the head. So correct answer here should be 2. Next question is choose the incorrect match from the following, right? PCR is amplification of nucleic acid, that is true. Transgenic mice is used for vaccine safety testing. That is true. ELISA is detection of gene mutation, not at all. So we can detect either antigen or antibodies, not mutations in gene. Gene therapy is treatment of genetic disorder. Yes, we got our answer. It should be 3. Next question. So statement 1 says that in ureotelic animals, ammonia is converted into urea in the kidneys. No, it is converted into liver. This is wrong. In urotelic organisms, urea is synthesized in the liver and eliminated by the kidney. That is true. So first one is incorrect, whereas second one is correct. Answer here should be 4. So next question. The correct order for chemical composition of living tissue in terms of percentage of total cellular mass. Very interesting questions. A direct question from the table given in biomolecules chapter. So the most abundant will always be water, right? Then comes protein and then comes nucleic acid. Then carbs, lipids and ions. So we got our answer. It should be 2. So here instead of nucleic acid it is given carbohydrate, which is wrong. Next question. Assertion says in solution of different pH, the structure of amino acid changes. That is true. Amine group and carboxyl group present in an amino acid is ionizable. That is also true. That's why the structure of amino acid changes. So assertion is true, reason is true, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So answer here is 1. Next, which of the following statements regarding enzyme inhibition is correct? So only one enzyme inhibition is discussed in NCERT, that is competitive inhibition. Let's discuss that. Malonate inhibits succinic dehydrogenase non-competitively. This is wrong. In competitive inhibition, the inhibitor resembles substrate molecule. Absolutely. Non-competitive inhibition of an enzyme can be overcome by adding a large amount of substrate. No. Competitive inhibition is used to control viral diseases. No. So correct answer here should be 2. Next. So let's match list 1 with list 2. Inulin. Inulin is a storage carbs in some plants. Insulin is a hormone. Lecithin is membrane component. Trypsin is biocatalyst. So A is matched with 4, right? And B is matched with 1. So we got our answer. C is matched with 3 and D is matched with 2. So correct answer here should be 4. Next, so we have again one more assertion and reason questions. Iodine deficiency leads to simple goiter. That's true. An exophthalmic goiter is form of hyperthyroidism. That is also true. So both are true, but not the correct explanation of assertion, right? So correct answer here should be 2. Let's move on to now next question. So next question says choose the incorrect statement from the following. Gift involved the transfer of gamete into the fallopian tube where fertilization occurs in vivo. Yes, so in gift the fertilization will be inside fallopian tube, that is in vivo. In IVF, embryo transfer, an embryo with up to 8 blastomere is transferred into the fallopian tube and we call it as ZIF, that is true. ICSI involved the injection of sperm directly into the ovum in the fallopian tube. No, this is done outside the body in vitro. So we want here the incorrect statement and just one is incorrect. That means only C. Answer here should be 2. Let's move on to our next question. Match list 1 with list 2. List 1 have neuroglia, which is a neural tissue. Chondrocytes are there in lacuna in a cartilage. Macrophages are there in areolar tissue and thrombocytes help in blood clotting. So A is matched with 3, B is matched with 1, C is matched with 4 and D is matched with 2. So correct answer for this question should be 2. Next. Which of the following is a helminthic parasite transmitted through contaminated food and water? So helminth they are asking, right? Not only parasite. So helminth here is ascaris that will be transmitted through contaminated food and water. Next question. So we have another assertion and reason question. Further ovulation is prevented. Following fertilization. So after fertilization, yes, further ovulation will be prevented. If fertilization occur, the corpus luteum persists beyond its usual 2-week duration and secrete progesterone, which inhibit the release of gonadotropins. That is also true. So progesterone will inhibit the gonadotropins, FSH, and there will not be any ovulation further. So both are true, and even the correct explanation of assertion. Correct answer here should be 1. Let's move on to our next question. Copper ion released from IUD prevent ovulation, make the uterus suitable for implantation? No. So it reduces the sperm motility. So correct answer for this question will be it reduces sperm motility as it interferes with the mitochondrial activity in the sperm. So answer here should be 4. Let's move on to our next question. So we have some statement based questions here. 2 statements we have here. Let's read them. Microvilli. Microvilli of columnar epithelial cells is the in the small intestine increases the surface area for absorption. That is true. Now cilia of squamous. So squamous epithelium will not have cilia, right? Only cuboidal and columnar can have. Now cilia of squamous epithelium in the respiratory tract helped in the movement of mucus in a specific direction is wrong. So first statement is correct, 2 is incorrect. Answer here should be 3. Next question. Which of the following does not explain the artificial selection in humans? New breed of dogs we are doing, disease resistant crop we are making, high yielding cows we need, antibiotic resistant bacteria we are not making, right? So this is not done by humans, right? This is anthropogenic action, but this is not the example of artificial selection. Answer is 4. So corvus is crow, right? So they have digestive tract, including in their digestive tract there will be crop and gizzard both, right? Crop for storage and gizzard for grinding. Bengaroos are kraits, right? These are snakes. So their scales shed off as skin cast. Carcharodon is cartilaginous fish where notochord is persistent throughout the life. Ichthyophis is limbless amphibian, which is limbs are absent. So A is matched with 4, right? We have just one option. Answer is 3. Next. So again, one more statement based question. So statement 1 says water vascular system is distinctive feature of echinodermata. That is true. It help in locomotion, food capture, respiration. Yes, till here it was true, but not fertilization. So statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect. Answer here should be 3. Next question. Recombinant therapeutic drugs are safe and more effective. That's true. Recombinant therapeutic drugs do not induce unwanted immune response. That's true. Similar products isolated from non-human sources are more effective. Not at all. So these are the correct statement and we want the true ones. Yes. So A and B will be true. So answer here should be 3. Right. So let's move on to our next question. Question number 144. Embryological support for evolution was proposed by Ernst Haeckel based on the observation of certain features during the adult stage are common in all vertebrates. So when we talk about certain features during the adult stage are common in all vertebrates, no, it is false. A row of functional gill slits. So not all vertebrates will have a functional gill slits, even not there in human embryo. So it will be functional only in fishes. Embryos of different vertebrates begin to differentiate from each other from the morula stage onward. We cannot say like this. Certain features during the embryonic stages are common to all vertebrates and that are absent in adult. So this is the support for Ernst Haeckel's theory. So answer here is 4. Next question. Regression of the corpus luteum results in menstruation. So when there is regression in corpus luteum, there is decrease in progesterone. There is decrease in progesterone level, and because of this, there is shedding of endometrium lining leading to menstruation. That is true. Now the corpus luteum develop during the proliferative phase of the menstrual cycle. This is wrong. because corpus luteum will develop during the luteal phase or secretory phase. So 1 is correct and 2 is incorrect. Correct answer here should be 3. Next. The correct systemic position of myxine is, so myxine is hagfish, belongs to class Cyclostomata, right? So it is chordata, it is vertebrata, it is agnatha, and it is Cyclostomata. We got our answer, it should be 1. Right? Now, which of the following leads to relaxation of contracted skeletal muscles? So, release of calcium will lead to muscle contraction. Binding of calcium to troponin will lead to muscle contraction. Release of ADP and inorganic phosphate from the myosin head. Okay. Definitely, it will not lead to relaxation, right? And cessation of motor nerve impulse to the muscles will lead to relaxation. So, it is 4. 155. Which of the following is not a function of progesterone? Inhibition of ovulation. So, progesterone will inhibit ovulation. Stimulation of the development of mammary alveoli, that is, inhibition of uterine muscle contraction, that is, but stimulation of gonadotropin releasing hormone and LH secretion. So, when we talk about progesterone, progesterone is formed after the ovulation, which is because of LH, right? So, whenever there is increase in progesterone, there is reduction in LH, right? So, here it is saying that stimulation of GnRH and LH secretion, which is wrong. So, not a function of progesterone will be option 4. So, let's move on to our next question. Widespread use of contraceptive methods play a significant role in the controlling population growth. So, widespread use of contraception definitely will lead to control in population growth. So, that is true. If untreated, sexually transmitted diseases may lead to breast cancer and other complications. So, if STD are not treated, it will lead to cervical cancer, not breast cancer. The causes of infertility could be physical, congenital, disease, drug, immunological, or even psychological. That is true. So, we want here the correct answer. So, A and C will be correct. So, correct answer here should be 2. Right? Next. During a medical checkup, a patient's arterial blood pressure is recorded as 140 by 90 millimeter mercury. What does the denominator represent? So, this is the diastolic blood pressure. So, it's arterial diastolic blood pressure. So, correct answer here should be 4. Okay. Next. In prawns, the main function of antennal gland is excretion. Okay. So, it is excretion. So, correct answer here will be 2. Next. So, we have matched the following type of question. Question number 162. So, anteater is numbat, lemur is spotted cuscus, flying squirrel is sugar glider, and bobcat is Tasmanian tiger cat. So, anteater A is matched with 4, right? So, we have many options here. B is matched with 3, just 2 options. C is matched with 2. So, we got our answer. It should be option 2. Let's move on to our next question. Question number 166. Uncontrolled growth is not observed in normal tissue due to the absence of contact inhibition. So, when there is absence of contact inhibition, uncontrolled growth is seen, right? So, this is wrong. Transformation of normal tissue into cancerous tissue can be induced by ionizing radiation. That is true. So, 1 is incorrect and 2 is correct. Answer should be 4. Question number 169. Assertion says bacterial cells are made competent before transformation. So, bacterial cells are made competent before transformation. It is required. Why? Let's see what is written in reason. DNA is hydrophilic and cannot pass through the cell membrane. That is also true. So, that's why we need to make bacterial cell competent. So, both are true and even the correct explanation of assertion. Answer should be 1. Next question. Assertion says not all copulations lead to fertilization and pregnancy. Yes. Now, during fertilization, a sperm comes in contact with zona pellucida and induces changes in the membrane that block the entry of additional sperm. That is also true. So, reason is explaining how polyspermy is avoided, prevented. So, both are true, but not the correct explanation of assertion. So, answer here should be 2. Next. Which of the following is not a critical research area of biotechnology? Providing the best catalyst in the form of improved organisms, usually a microbe or pure enzyme. This is creating optimum condition through engineering for a catalyst to act. That is also true. Use of better management practices and use of agrochemicals. No, not at all. This was not. And downstreaming processing, definitely. Right. So here the answer will be 3. Now choose the correct statement about this animal. So this animal is what? Scalidon or dogfish. So this is Scalidon. Scalidon is a cartilaginous fish. So it's a marine mammal. It's not mammal, it's a fish. It lacks paired fins. It is there. The mouth is located ventrally. That is true. The gill slits are covered by operculum. No, operculum will be absent in cartilaginous fishes. So answer here is 3. Next question. To induce alien DNA into host cells through biolistic gene gun method, high velocity of microparticles of gold and silver are used. Silver is wrong. High velocity macroparticle of gold and macro is wrong. Microparticle of any metal can be used? No. But it is suitable for plant cells. So answer here should be 4. Okay. Next question. Choose the correct statement from the following. Dendrite contain Nissls granule? Yes. So Nissls granules are there in dendrites and cell body, not in axon, hillock or axon. Now the synaptic knob is the terminal part of the dendrite. That is true. That is false, because synaptic knobs are the end part of axon, right, and not the dendrites. A unipolar neuron has only one process, the dendrite, that will be the axon. Dendrites are the afferent processes of the neuron. Yes, that is true. So we want here the correct statements. 1 and D, A and D will be the correct one. Answer should be 2. Next question. What is golden rice? Is it resistant to all pests? No. Is it a biofortified, genetically modified crop? Yes, it is rich in vitamin A. Right? Developed by RNA interference? No. Promote early exhaustion of soil nutrients and fertility? No. So correct answer here should be 2. Right? Next. Find out the correct sequence of steps involved in rDNA technology. So many steps are there, and definitely the first will be isolation of DNA. That means C. Okay, so C. So basically we have just one option starting from C, right? But we will check the other statements as well. So isolation of DNA, then the fragmentation of DNA, then isolation of desired DNA fragment once we have all the fragments, right? And after that will be the ligation of DNA fragments into the vector, right? Then there will be transferring of rDNA into the host cell, culturing of the host cell, and then definitely there will be uh, the extraction of the desired product at the end. So F will be at the end. Yes, so we confirm that our answer should be 2. Next. To get virus-free plant, which culture is followed? So basically, if one plant is infected by viruses and we want the same plant from that particular plant, so we need to culture the meristem, right? So answer here should be meristem culture, not embryo, not pollen, not protoplast culture. So answer here should be 4, right? Next question. Statement 1 says that Agrobacterium tumefaciens is a pathogen of several monocot plants. So it should be dicot. This is wrong. Retrovirus is an animal, have the ability to transform cancerous cell into normal cell. No. Normal cell into cancerous cell. Both are incorrect. Okay. So answer here should be 2. Both statements are incorrect. Right. Next question. Among the following, select the tools of recombinant DNA technology. Restriction enzymes. Yes, we do use restriction enzymes in our DNA technology. Polymerase enzyme. Yes, we are using ligase. Also, we do use vectors also we are using, host organism we need definitely. So basically all of them, A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E. So we got our answer should be 1, right? All of them will be used, right? So with this, we have completed the discussion of our GT8 zoology portion. Hope you have understood. Stay tuned for the next discussion.